Jake was my ex-boyfriend who I dated for the last 7 years. We first met each other when we were in college. He was the charming guy with a disarming smile, the kind that could make your heart do a little dance. We eventually started hanging out and got to know each other better. We had a lot in common with our hobbies and goals in life, and we clicked well with our humor. In a few months, we had started to officially date each other. Day by day and throughout the relationship, he was very loving, caring, attentive. We never argued about money and supported each other's goals. He looked after me when I was sick and was attentive to my needs. He told me quite early on in the relationship that he never spoke with his dad because his dad had cheated on his mom and left his family. He also had a poor relationship with his mom and avoided seeing her as much as possible. As a result, he always had a terrible self-image of himself, appearance-wise and goal life-wise, from a very young age. He had this burning need to be liked and get approval from most people. I tried my best to help him feel better about his image, but his struggle became worse and worse. He eventually decided to quit university altogether, and after that, he was constantly in a spiraling bad mood about his esteem, image, and self-worth. There seemed to be little I could do to help him change his mind, as I felt he also compared himself to me. When I graduated from university, I was offered a very good job and even got promoted twice in the space of 2 years. He used to comment that he never felt good enough for me. I feel the above context is more than likely related to why he always sought after quick gratification or an ego boost from other people. Throughout the course of our relationship, he cheated on me multiple times. The first incident occurred within a month of us being together. He went away to a volunteering camp, something he does multiple times every year. While he was there, he was on Tinder and talking to a girl. I noticed a change in his behavior when he returned, so I asked him about it. He was evasive, so I decided to investigate. This is how I found out that he was cheating with this girl online and had exchanged inappropriate messages with her. I confronted him and expressed that this was not acceptable to me. We had a conversation about our boundaries, and in the end, I decided not to blow it out of proportion, thinking that he was going to change. The second instance was when I discovered that he had continued to maintain contact with his ex-girlfriend throughout the first 4 years of our relationship. He consistently sent her complimentary messages, praising her beauty and making small personal comments like, "I always thought your braces made you cute, even when you hated them." When I confronted him about it, he justified this by claiming she had low self-confidence, and he wanted to help her feel better about herself. The third instance occurred when he was showing me something on his phone, and a notification popped up from a girl. I wouldn't have thought much of it had he not quickly dismissed it while saying, "Don't worry, she's ugly." A strange comment to say about a random girl texting him. Later, when he was out, I snagged his phone for a moment and saw some affectionate text messages that they had exchanged. I couldn't read them all before he snatched the phone back and deleted everything. He kept insisting that she was just an old friend, claiming he had never talked to her in so long. He apologized and blocked her, so I decided to dismiss it. About a month later, he started to fabricate a story about going to dinner with his sister, but I could tell that wasn't the case. He lied to my face when he got back, talking about how well his sister was doing and so on. However, thanks to Google, I knew where he had been. He had clearly been on a date and stayed at her place until 1 a.m. I waited for him to come clean for about a week before confronting him, but he didn't. I hinted that I knew something about his so-called meeting with his sister, and I was giving him another chance to tell me the truth on his own. Knowing that he was caught, he finally admitted to going to dinner with a girl he met online, but denied going back to her place or paying for the dinner. I essentially fed him the proof I had, but he kept denying the whole truth. The next time he cheated on me was about 4 years into our relationship. We had become quite open with our messages when using our laptops or phones near each other. But when it came to this particular girl, he avoided opening her messages on Facebook, WhatsApp, when I was around. Once again, I questioned him and he insisted nothing was going on. Trusting my instincts and knowing his past behavior, I decided to snoop once more. To my dismay, I discovered he was sending sexually explicit messages to her, expressing a desire for her to be dominant, a role he was reluctant to let me play in our intimate moments. Confronting him, he broke down, apologized, and promptly deleted her from his contacts. In the wake of this revelation, he also admitted to struggling with a porn addiction. I was shocked to hear this and decided that it was time to attend counseling to address these issues. We had a few sessions attempting to delve into the root cause of his behavior. Our communication started to improve and the relationship saw positive changes. Unfortunately, when he secured a job, we had to halt our sessions. His job had him working on site, which was pretty far away, so he was away for 5 nights every week. One weekend, when he returned, perhaps tired from the trip, he wasn't as careful in hiding his tracks. I saw a series of calls he had with 2 different women every day he was gone. Again, I waited, this time for 1 whole day, to see if he would tell me what was going on himself. When he didn't, I confronted him. He immediately denied any calls were made, asking, "Do you have proof?" Though I didn't have proof at that moment, I knew what I saw. The next night, when he fell asleep, I did a deep search on his phone and luckily discovered all of his texts with both girls in the trash bin for the past 30 days, since that's all the trash bin will hold. He had spoken to them the same way he spoke to me and promised them all the things he tends to promise me. He told girl number 2 that she was the perfect girl for him and that he wanted to take her out for dinner after he was back. Now, I had the proof to confront him about it. The next morning, I woke up to him crying next to me. At first, I thought he had found out that I had found the proof, but he told me how he had a bad dream about us breaking up and was upset, thinking I was going to leave him. My eyes narrowed suspiciously and I opened up all the texts he had with those girls. I read them aloud as he sat there crying and expressing his regret. This time, I was so pissed off that I started to laugh reading his messages aloud because I couldn't believe how someone who keeps saying that they love me can continue to cheat on me so many times. How could he even lie to my face? I felt like if I didn't get the proof, he would have continued to deny these allegations and I might have never found out. We had a huge fight and I was ready to leave. But then he went down on his knees crying and begging me that he loved me and how sorry he was. He told me that he was sick and he couldn't imagine his life without me. I genuinely loved him, and every time he cried it broke my heart despite all the pain he caused me. He continued to claim that he just couldn't help himself but wanted to work on his issues. He went on to tell me that he loved me and that he couldn't wait to marry me one day. Even though I knew he kept making me a complete fool whenever he cheated and lied to my face and broke his promises, I really did want to believe him. Part of me did think that we had come such a long way and built a life together. We have been through a lot together and supported each other through some rough patches. But at the same time, we also had a lot of fun together. He makes me laugh every day. I always felt like I would be letting go of so much. Hence, I decided to stay and told him that this was the very last chance he had to prove himself. He started to work on changing himself. For 1.5 years after that, we had a magical relationship. He didn't sneak around with his phone anymore and genuinely made an effort for us. But suddenly, in the last year of our relationship, I noticed his mood taking a dip again, and his behavior started to change. He stayed up late on his phone, became withdrawn, and then suddenly shifted to being overly affectionate. This continued for about 2 weeks, and my gut feeling told me something was amiss. Despite not snooping since our counseling sessions, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. One day, he went to the bathroom and left his phone under his pillow. When I checked, it was open on his screen, used just minutes ago. To my surprise, I discovered a new Discord account where he was chatting with 8 random girls and one friend he had been speaking to online. I had previously inquired about this friend when he communicated with her daily around the time I started my new job. He had explained to me she was just a girl from Reddit he had met on a friend-finding subreddit. However, I found that they had been chatting for a long time, and he had revealed to her everything about our relationship. He had also sent her videos from his side, but she had never shared any images, hence I had no idea what this girl looked like. I was so pissed that we had a screaming match. He accused me of violating his privacy by checking his phone, and I accused him of using me throughout our relationship. He finally admitted that he had developed feelings for this girl over the past year and was starting to get emotionally involved with her. He told me he would have confessed to me eventually, as he wanted to break up with me anyway. I couldn't believe what I was hearing as he continued to tell me that he wanted to see if he and the girl could have a future together. Throughout our relationship, despite all the pain he had caused me, I had always clung to the hope that things would get better for us. We had gone through cycles of making up and breaking up, each time thinking it was the last. But now he was leaving me for a girl he had met on Reddit. As I sat there looking stunned, Jake went on to express that he felt it was only fair to both of us to end our relationship, as he couldn't continue a relationship with me while having these conflicting emotions for someone else. Hearing his words, I felt tears in my eyes as I was forced to come to terms with the fact that the relationship we had built over 7 years was now crumbling. We broke up, and I felt every kind of emotion, lost, scared, angry, and like I had been used. Despite the pain, my heart couldn't help but ache, torn between the love I had for Jake and the way he had betrayed me. Flash forward 5 months post-breakup, and while I am still trying to heal and move on, my younger sister announces that she's getting married. I was shocked to hear the news, as I didn't even know that she was dating anyone at the moment. When I asked her about it, she invited me out for lunch, telling me that she was going to tell me about her fiancé. I agreed, and excitedly waited for the day to come so I could see my baby sis. When the day finally arrived, I met my sister Lisa for lunch. She seemed over the moon as she gushed about her fiancé, sharing stories about how they met and fell in love. However, as she described him, I became increasingly suspicious, and my heart sank when she finally mentioned his name, Jake. Yes, Jake, my ex-boyfriend of 7 years, was her fiancé. I couldn't believe it and asked if she was joking. My sister, a lovely woman, has always been selective when it comes to relationships. Despite being popular in high school with many admirers, she never rushed into a romance. She chose to remain single for many years. Hence, I just couldn't believe that she had decided to date and now would be marrying my ex. Growing up, I was always close to my sister, but due to our 7-year age gap, I couldn't bring myself to tell her the exact reason for my breakup with Jake. In reality, I felt ashamed of what he had put me through, and I was certain that if she knew the whole truth, she wouldn't be going through this. I started to ask her if she even knew what she was getting herself into. She smirked with an air of superiority, telling me that she knew exactly what she was getting into. My brows furrowed in confusion as she revealed that he had been texting her, the mystery girl he claimed to have formed emotional connections with. My eyes widened in shock as I realized that she was the woman behind our breakup. My sister went on to explain how they had stumbled upon each other's Reddit pages and started talking. He knew all along that she was my sister, but still chose to engage with her inappropriately. She mentioned that it had been 5 months already since my breakup with Jake, hence she expected me to have moved on by now, which was why she had decided to reveal her engagement to everyone. She continued, stating that when she disclosed the engagement to the rest of the family, they insisted that she talk to me first. Their directive was clear. My attendance was crucial in her upcoming wedding to show my support in front of everyone, or they would not be attending. I maintained a calm exterior, hiding the turmoil within. As if this wasn't enough, Lisa then dropped another bombshell. Jake and her wanted me to be their maid of honor during their wedding. I felt a mix of shock, anger, and disbelief hearing her words. They expected me to put on a facade of acceptance, to showcase unity and happiness, when in reality I was grappling with the shattered remnants of my own heart. The whole situation felt like a twisted joke on me. She started talking about how it would mean so much to them if I could do this for their special day. I left that conversation with her feeling utterly broken and betrayed. Since then, I've been torn. On one hand, I want to tell both of them to go to hell, but on the other hand, I don't want my family thinking that I'm still bitter after the breakup and can't handle it. What if this becomes the gossip fodder for the next family gathering? Oh, she couldn't handle it, poor thing. Hence, as you can understand, I am grappling with mixed emotions and wondering how others would handle a situation like this. Despite my love for my sister and genuine happiness for her impending marriage, I am unsettled about the choice of her partner. The idea of actively participating in their wedding and witnessing the ceremony is weighing down my heart. While I am hopeful that with time I will overcome these feelings, I'm uncertain about how to navigate this situation. So here I am on Reddit trying to decide if I would be an a-hole by telling them no, or will I be judged? Update 1. I haven't talked to my sister since our meeting last month. She has tried to reach out to me several times, but I'm unable to make up my mind. Last week, she and Jake sent out their wedding invitations. I didn't RSVP because I honestly don't want to attend. Yesterday, my mom asked me to visit her, and I agreed, thinking that it was just going to be me and her. When I got there, Mom was waiting with my sister and my aunt. It was an intervention. My mom started by saying that it was important for me to attend my sister's wedding and that I should stop alienating myself from everybody. She told me that my sister was getting married and I should stop being so selfish. In turn, I told her that I was not comfortable watching my ex-boyfriend, who had cheated on me multiple times, marry my younger sister. I questioned her if she was even aware of his history, because the list of times he had cheated on me was never ending. Hearing this, my sister started to cry, saying I'm trying to ruin their relationship by making up lies. She asked if it had to do with the fact that I was not dating anyone at the moment, and suggested that she could pair me with one of my ex-boyfriend's single best men so I wouldn't feel lonely during her wedding. I was furious when I heard this and told her firmly I didn't want to attend her wedding because I didn't like the fact that she was marrying the worst guy I have ever dated, who broke my heart throughout 7 years of a relationship. She continued to cry, accusing me of being bitter and a hag, claiming I intended to hurt her because of my jealousy. I left after this. Later, my mom called, saying that if I didn't show up at least as a guest, I would be cut off from the whole family. They need me there to show everyone there I had no hard feelings and that I have blessed their marriage. My sister has been facing criticism from the family for what she has done to me. I'm so angry right now. What's between my sister and me seems to be broken beyond repair. Why is it so hard for them to understand? I love my family. But I'm tired of them choosing my sister's side. I know Mom is serious about cutting me off if I don't attend. Update 2. Before I provide an update, I want to express my sincere gratitude to everyone for the valuable advice and suggestions I have received. While some of you suggested planning revenge for my sister's wedding, I must apologize because I simply don't believe in such pettiness. I have come to realize that the only hurt I've been feeling was because of the way my mom has treated me throughout this ordeal. Since my sister announced her wedding, I have felt that my mom has let me down by not thinking about my emotions and what I'm going through. At the end of the day, I can't control who my sister or my ex ends up marrying. If my sister wants to marry Jake and believes it will make her happy, then I am no one to stand in her way. However, I decided to make one last attempt to mend things with my mom and explain how her actions have hurt me. Last Friday, I visited her while she was alone at the house. I started by expressing my hurt about the intervention because I didn't think I needed one. I shared that it hurt that she always took my sister's side and explained my many reasons for not attending the sister's wedding. I told her how my relationship with my sister had changed and couldn't be normal anymore because I couldn't see myself being anywhere near my ex. I don't feel obligated either to try and repair her reputation in front of our relatives by attending her wedding. She has chosen to make a very controversial life choice by marrying my ex-boyfriend, knowing that I had dated him for so many years. Hence, she must have known already that people will give her a hard time. But if she really loves him, then honestly, she shouldn't even care about their opinion. As I spoke, I noticed my mom getting more and more upset. After I finished, she told me that she was right in thinking that I'm a vindictive hag, that she's ashamed of me and that my bitterness is the reason I will end up alone in the end. She told me I was pathetic for not attending my own sister's wedding and was so stuck up with my own ego. I started to cry, hearing her words, as I knew I didn't deserve to get as much hate from my own parent. Her words hit me hard, and I walked out of her house, promising myself that I would never contact her again. I was feeling so down for the next few days, and as if that wasn't enough, I received an email from Jake. I had blocked him after the breakup, so he had not been able to reach out to me through calls or messages. Hence, he had decided to send me an email. In the email, he poured out apologies and tried to justify everything. He claimed he was really in love with my sister, like that's supposed to make it all better. He went on about how he couldn't control who he fell for and how he's changed. It was infuriating to read, especially after all the pain he put me through. Jake's audacity knows no bounds. In his email, he had the nerve to tell me to shove my feelings aside and be there for my sister's big day, as it would mean a lot for her. Reading that line just fueled my anger even more, and I am even more convinced now about my decision to not attend my sister's wedding. Update 3. It's been 3 months, and although my last update might have been a bit depressing for some of you to read, I assure you that I am doing much better now than I was last time. Following the fallout after my confrontation with my mom, communication with my family remained strained. My sister continued to reach out to me and forced me to attend her wedding. Despite her persistent invitations, I remained firm in my decision to not attend the wedding. The pressure from my family, the fear of being labeled the bitter outcast, and perhaps a sliver of hope for a future reconciliation with my sister had initially pushed me to consider it, but ultimately I chose to prioritize my emotional well-being. The wedding day arrived, and from the accounts that have reached me, it seemed that her wedding was an absolute disaster. Some of my cousins and even my grandparents, firmly disapproving of my sister's decision to marry my ex, opted not to attend her wedding altogether. Their absence, a silent protest against the union, sent ripples of discord through the event. My sister sent me a lengthy text abusing me and blaming me for how I ruined the most special day of her life. After that, I decided to block her so I could move on from this ordeal altogether. Since then, I have focused on getting myself back together. Therapy has been a big help, helping me understand my feelings after the breakup and the family drama. Instead of focusing on the negativity in my difficult relationship with my family, I put all my energy into my work these days. As I keep healing, I have found support in friends who have become my chosen family. They understand what I have gone through better than my own blood family. Looking back, I can see how tough times do make you a whole lot stronger. The ongoing process of healing remains a significant part of my narrative, and I am seizing control of it, refusing to be a victim. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.